the country. I said, we do the usual. We're going to fly with SAA. And then they were like, SAA, it's finished. I'm like, what do you mean it's finished? They're like, yeah, it's gone. SABC and SAA generations, all of it's gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean it's just finished? So how are we flying? They're like, well, you've got to choose another one. I was like, well, you recommend. They're like, well, we could do like Fly Safair. I was like, all right, is it good? They're like, well, it's not great, but it's reliable. It'll get you where you need to go. I was like, what do you mean it's not great? They're like, well, they just make you pay for everything, and it's like it's very they just make it very efficient. I didn't realize how efficient. Yo, Fly Safair is on another level, guys. I don't know who's running that airline, but they're serious, eh? They don't waste time. They make sure they make their money. They make you pay for everything. Everything. Yeah, you buy the plane ticket. That's just the beginning of the transaction. Yeah, you want a specific seat, you pay. You want to bring a bag, you pay. Yeah, you want food on the plane, you pay. Yeah, you want to board early, you pay. Those people, they're finding everything, yeah? It's only a matter of time before you're on a Fly Safair flight, and 10 minutes before landing, they come up to your seat like, I'm sorry, sir, it looks like you didn't pay for the landing option. So we're gonna need you to jump out now, if you don't mind. You're like, yeah, but can I pay now? Sorry, sir, we don't take cards. I don't think I've ever been on an airline like Fly Safair. It was the most South African experience I could ever ask for. Everything was different. Everything. The flight was supposed to be 2 hours flying to Cape Town. It took 1 hour 30. Everyone said it's normal. How? How are you getting to a place 30 minutes earlier? You're flying in a straight line, in the sky. How? People are like, oh, that's what happens with Fly Safair. No, what do you mean that's what happens? Doesn't that freak you out? So what's happening up there? Is the pilot taking shortcuts? He's just there, busy cutting. Yeah, cut here, double up. 10 by stratas, 10 by stratas. Everything on that flight is different. When you land and you get to the gate, you're not allowed to stand up. No one told me that. Yeah, I stood up by myself. I was there. Everyone around me was like, I was like, I want to get my bag. They're like, oh, you must wait. You must wait. Yo, guys, and the way people talk in that plane, it's almost like Flying Safair came with a shambok one day to everyone. Because not a single passenger. I sat back down, I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you wait for Safair to say you can stand. You don't want to see them get angry. What did they do to you, South Africa? You can tell me. That whole flight was different. Oh, you know what was interesting? There was no recline button. Yeah, that was different. Yeah, you can't recline your seat. Yeah, the seat is there. And then I got into it. And then I was like, okay, let me relax. And then I was like, whoa, where's the, okay. And then, sometimes you don't know where a thing is. So I was looking, I'm busy pulling things. I'm like, where's, and this is something that could only happen in South Africa. There's this Indian guy sitting next to me. And he sees me, busy fidgeting around, sees me fidgeting. And at some point he turns and he's like, hey, Trevor, what's wrong there, man? And I said, no, man, I can't find the recline button. And without missing a beat, this man was like, oh, no, don't worry. They sell it there when you start flying. Yeah, they're going to bring it with the Pringles and the water and stuff. You can buy it. It's 55 Rand. Guys, he said it so seriously. And I'd paid for so many other things that I believed it. I was like, God damn, this airline is crazy. I was like, what an insane airline. I was like, they make you pay for the recline button? You know what an idiot I looked like when they came with that cart? They was pushing that cart down. I was like, and so what would you like? I was like, can I please have the recline button? I want to lean back. Everything on Fly Safair was fun. Everything. My favorite thing on Fly Safair is that it feels personal. That's what I like. I feel like I'm on a South African airline and it feels personal, feels intimate. I feel like they're flying me, mostly because they look at me. When they're making the announcements, you see who's making the announcements. That doesn't happen when you fly anymore. Flying has become so impersonal. They just put down that video monitor, and then you just watch a little safety video. There's no warmth, there's no character. You've seen it probably when you travel, when you leave South Africa. When you fly Emirates, and then they'll be like, please watch the safety video. And then the video comes on.
شكراً خيلت ولا خيلت ورليلا إماراتي شكراً دايلا خطوة ورليلا السلام عليكم ما لكرليلا ولا خطوة 다지 إماراتي كريلا ولا خطيلا خا حبيبي لكرلويا يلا يرتا خطرلوه 나티카 إماراتي هايتو كورلا خيلا محمد خليا لا بنصل كدراينا أعطيك خليل بردينا برديا شكراً. Welcome to Emirates.
That's not personal, that's not for me. Flights airfare feels like it's custom made. You see the person, they take that telephone off the wall. On our flight, they had one person making the announcement and another person doing the actions. Yo, guys, I was having the time of my life. Because that woman took the phone off, she's like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, aboard this Flights airfare flight. Please pay attention to the following safety announcement. You will find the seatbelt will be fastened like this. And unfastened like this. Just to make that person feel like they were actually doing something worthwhile, I did it with them. When they were like, unfastened, I was like... Please also note you will find a life vest under your seat in case of a water landing emergency. Place it over your head and pull the strips to inflate the jacket. If it does not inflate, you can blow into the red toggles on either side. I love it. It was interesting. It was unique. It felt like I was home. The whole flying experience felt like... The only thing that doesn't feel unique is the pilots. That's what I've noticed, actually everywhere in the world. If you want to feel what a country's like, listen to the flight attendants, right? But then the pilots, no matter where you are all the same. It's almost like they went to the same school where they've been trained the same way to fly. They've all got that same sexy pilot's voice. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, flight attendants can sound however they like. They do that thing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. No, there's no pilot like that. When pilots come on, they always do that thing of theirs. Boom.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Aboard this Flights airfare flight. This is your captain, John Davies speaking, and I'm going to be taking you down. It's going to be approximately 2 hours. We're just waiting for the last few bags to get loaded, and we're going to be closing the doors, heading off shortly in a northeasterly direction. Taking to cruising.
Like, why are they always running out of breath? Is there a reason that pilots cannot complete one single sentence when they're making announcements? Every time that they're like,
we're going to be at a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet.
It always sounds like they're getting head in the cockpit. Can anybody tell me why? Why does it sound like every pilot is receiving immense amounts of pleasure and they can't get a single sentence out? Every single pilot. It's like someone started just before they started. They were there and they're like, no.
Welcome, everybody. Let me introduce you to your cabin crew on this flight. In the rear, we've got Tandeka, we've got John, and we've got Lisa who are going to be looking after you. Up front, my co-pilot, Mr. Defet's going to be looking after us. Flight time should be not too long. Keep your seatbelts fastened in case of any unexpected turbulence. I'll let you know once it's safe to move around, but until, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Oh, Flights airfare. Felt like home.
Love you, Trevor.
Ah, man, love you too. Thank you for coming. I was away for too long. Yeah, because a country moves in a direction. Right? That's just what happens. And the longer you're away, the less you move with the people. I've noticed that in small things. I need to catch up to where South Africans are in certain things. One of them being load shedding. Yeah, no, I'm behind when it comes to load shedding. Yeah, because when I left South Africa, when I left, like, load shedding was like 1 hour, maybe every few weeks. Do you know that type of thing? And now when I come back, they're like, it's stage 6. And I'm like, is this Mario Brothers? I didn't even know. Just every single day. Tangan, tangan, tangan. And the reason I know I'm behind is because I still react to load shedding. That's it, I react. I've noticed South Africans, you don't flinch anymore. Nothing. Now when the lights go out, I'm the only idiot who's like, load shedding. And you see people around me like, yo, where's this guy from? He doesn't even know load shedding. Welcome to the future, buddy. What an idiot. South Africans have had load shedding for so long now that I don't know if you've noticed this, but you've started becoming load shedding connoisseurs. You know, I've heard conversations where people are talking about load shedding, and they'll be talking about their favorite load shedding. People be sitting there and they'll be like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite load shedding easily is like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's like the best load shedding. That's when you want load shedding, eh? Because like you're already asleep, right? It doesn't bother anything, it doesn't mess anything up. That's like the best load shedding ever. People are there fighting. No, I think 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Guys, you're crazy. No, that's the best. Let me tell you the best. My favorite load shedding. Guys, you can't have your favorite bad thing. Are you kidding me? How long has this been going for that you're like, this is my favorite? You can't have a favorite bad thing. That's like someone being like, yeah, my favorite plane crash. My favorite plane crash is the one that goes like this. That's my favorite one. My favorite load shedding. It's ridiculous. People have moved, people have changed. There's dynamics I don't understand. You know, I'm trying to get used to it. For instance, the last time I was doing shows here, when load shedding would hit, the lights would just go out, and that would be it. Like when you were at a shop, the lights would go out, and that was that. And then now everyone has generators. And so now there's a pause, but I didn't know about this. And I've noticed that the lights go out, and when they do, everyone in South Africa just stands where they are. And then when the lights come on, they carry on. Yeah. That's weird. At least have fun in the load shedding. Huh? There's a moment of darkness. Make it exciting, make it creative. I've started figuring out some things. You know, like at the Checkers that's next to my house, what I do is whenever I'm shopping there, I know that the load shedding, between the load shedding and the generator kicking in, it's 45 seconds. So what I'll do is, if the load shedding hits in that 45 seconds, I'll just take boxes off the shelf and I just stack them into like a tower, and then I'll step away from it. Then when the lights come back, it's like, I'm like, Kibuloy. I just try and make things interesting. Because there's things that you have to understand. There's things that are different now. One of the weirdest ones for me, happened when I needed to get new appliances for my house, right? So I needed to get like kettles and toasters and all those small things. And so I went, right? I was going to at home. I was at home. No, I was at. They must change the name of that shop because you can't, how do you say it? Because you can't say I was at home because then it seems like I was ekaya. So you were at home, but that doesn't sound grammatically. They should have just called it home and we say the at. Anyway, I was by that shop, né? And so I'm there busy shopping for appliances. And while we're shopping, everything's normal, everything's not. And about at 5 to 2, one of the employees walks out from behind the cash register. And she's like, ladies and gentlemen, please stay where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay where you are. And I'm there like, did we win something? And then without missing a beat, the security guards at home closed the doors,